So this lesson helped me think through three different problems that I was experiencing with my students during online learning. As an ELA teacher, I really struggled with a way to keep the momentum going while reading a whole class novel with many chapters in my high school ELA 10th grade class during remote learning. And I also wanted to find authentic yet creative ways for students to showcase their writing and their critical thinking, and also to use inquiry and questioning back and forth with each other to encourage their inquiry together. And so I relied again on Google Slides as a way for students to make their work public and then also to showcase what they've done. So this is called a virtual gallery walk. Now, the way that I thought about reading a whole class novel during this time was to have what we called slicing. So students would select a particular slice that I had pre-chunked for them in a certain chapter. So let's say chapter 6 had 5 different slices, and each slice was about 10 pages long. And so a student would take ownership of that particular slice or chunk of this particular chapter. And that student would work with some evidence-based questions and then come up with a way to showcase their understanding of the text in a creative way, using images and presenting their work in a Google slide. What I found worked nicely about that is that students learned from each other. So while they might have taken slice 1 of chapter 6, they then read through everybody else's gallery walk slides, and they were able to take key points from their peers' thinking and analysis from other slices that they had not yet read. And then the next assignment, I would flip-flop, and the student who had slice 1 would take another slice that they hadn't read. So I thought it was a nice way to sort of jigsaw out and do some collaborative thinking and sharing, while also efficiently getting through the novel. And sometimes I feel guilty about that. And then other times I remember Jess's reading that she provided about micro-learning and how the research out there is really saying that with remote learning, it's okay to trim down to what is the most important skill and standard, and to make sure students really dig deep in that skill and standard to produce and show what they know. So that worked for me for a little while during online learning and finishing and closing a novel that we had worked on for a couple of weeks. So this virtual gallery walk, I actually gave students the directions over video, and they watched a little video on Sunday night when I assigned work, and then they had the whole week to work on this. Work was due on Saturday. And then I also had the directions here on the left. But this particular part of the gallery walk assignment was about students working through leaving feedback. And I wanted students to focus on positive feedback only. That was really important at this time. And then to practice really what they're thinking about when they write comments. So it's not just great or this is awesome, but it's really specific. So we practice leaving specific feedback with something that they appreciate or something that they learned. And I found that I had to explicitly teach how to leave comments in Google Slides. So this is sort of my landing slide. It's the directions. I always try to provide that in a visual format. And then I would also provide a video to go along with it with me. And the link is right here. As you can see, students began to leave feedback for each other. So I modeled it at first on the first slide for this student. And then we have another student writing back, and we're beginning this dialogue. All the slides look a little different. Students were asked to find an image that fits with their particular slice, and they were asked to respond to three different things. How does this slice of your chapter fit with the universal idea or theme of the book? What does this slice mean? What imagery, simile, or metaphor did you find, and what did that convey? And what is this slice about? And so those are the questions that students grappled with. I also gave students an opportunity to find sentence stems as well in the comments section of Google Slides. I find that leaving information or further directions or sentence stems in that comment section and then referring kids to that section is a helpful space to utilize on Google Slides. So students were able to dialogue back and forth with each other in asynchronous learning as they projected their final slides.